Watch out, folks, because I think this new look Miami Heat ball club is going to shock the NBA. And is that going to mean a NBA championship coming to the 305 this season? No, probably not. But I think this Heat team is going to be much better than it was 2 weeks ago. It's going to be way more competitive, and it's going to be a frisky team this upcoming postseason when we conclude the regular season. Because the 3 new additions that the Miami Heat added to this roster are all going to impact this team in a way that I think the Heat needed desperately. The 3 new players they got in return for Jimmy Butler, Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, and Kyle Anderson. Yeah, technically they included Josh Richardson in that deal as well, but those were the 2 players leaving. These are the 3 coming in, and when you consider the fact that Jimmy Butler and Josh Richardson basically haven't played basketball for the Heat in like a month and a half, and serious basketball that is, you're basically adding 3 new players to the roster for absolutely no value that you just had on the basketball court. And before we talk about the value they will be adding, I want to welcome the 3 new Heat basketball players, Andrew Wiggins, Davion Mitchell, and Kyle Anderson. If they're searching their name up and typing in Heat, we're talking about them. I want them to know the Heat fans have their back and want to welcome them with open arms to the 305. So hit that thumbs up icon and welcome in the newest Miami Heat members of this organization. All right, some quick info on these 3, by the way. They are expected to debut on February 10th, Monday's game against the Boston Celtics. Hopefully they are all able to play. There's, I guess, a chance that they don't, but I do expect them to. Andrew Wiggins will wear number 22. Interesting there. Davion Mitchell will wear number 45, and Kyle Anderson will wear number 20. And this is where the Heat roster stands after the trade deadline. We've showed this graphic quite a bit, but I wanted to talk about it one more time. I would expect the Heat to remain true to that starting backcourt of Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero. And after all of the moves Miami made, I don't think Duncan should be punished by reducing his minutes. I think the minutes reduction should come to a Jaquez maybe, a Highsmith, a Terry Rozier. But I expect Andrew Wiggins to slot into that 3 to be that connecting wing piece to Kel'el Ware, Bam Duncan, and Tyler Hero. And to me, this roster is significantly better. They got more athletic. They got better defensively. And as I mentioned, the Heat basically, over the past 5 weeks, basically since before Christmas or just around Christmas time, have had no Jimmy Butler and no Josh Richardson. So yeah, they've had 14 players on the roster, but they've really been playing with 12 over the last 5 weeks because those 2 haven't been on the court. So you're adding 3 new guys to add value to your basketball team. The Heat got significantly better in terms of their spacing, their defense, their athleticism, their youth, and I absolutely love it. And we're going to start with the impact of Andrew Wiggins here because he is the prized addition, if you will, the biggest name coming to the Miami Heat in the return for Jimmy Butler. Erik Spoelstra was finally allowed to talk about them just before Friday's game against the Brooklyn Nets, and Spoelstra talking about Wiggins said Andrew can really help us in terms of his scoring, really putting a lot of pressure on defenses. And defensively, he is such a dynamic, unique, versatile defender, will fit right into how we defend. I cannot wait to watch Andrew Wiggins in a Heat uniform. Is he a better fit than Jimmy Butler? Maybe. He's not a better player, but he might be a better fit. He's going to be an absolute attack dog on the defensive end. And when Jimmy Butler is locked in, there's no question that he is still a top-tier defensive wing in the NBA. But Wiggins gives you it night in and night out. His offense may be inconsistent at times, but his defense is not. He is an elite wing defender, one of the top 10 isolation perimeter defenders in the NBA, especially at that wing position. And Erik Spoelstra is going to absolutely sick him on opponents. Doesn't matter if your name is Tyrese Maxey. It doesn't matter if your name is Kevin Durant. It doesn't matter if your name is Jason Tatum. Andrew Wiggins will be guarding you for 38 minutes probably a night, and I can't wait to watch it. And he does defend at such a high level. We'll showcase some statistics that Heat fans will like here in just a second. But let me know, how excited are you for Andrew Wiggins to join this Heat team and perform on the court? Scale it 1 to 10 for me down in the comment section. I teased some fun statistics. Here they are. Now, this is not every single player, and there are some players that have Andrew Wiggins' number defensively, but these 5 are some of the best 5 offensive players in the NBA. James Harden, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Donovan Mitchell. When Andrew Wiggins is matched up on one of these guys in isolation when he's defending them, you see the minutes next to him, you see the field goal percentage, you see the turnovers forced. Andrew Wiggins can absolutely put your favorite player into an island. We called it Revis Island back in the day. Yeah, this is Wiggins Island. And the impressive part to me is that the versatility he does it at. You look at that chart real quick for a second. Kevin Durant, best scorer maybe of all time, 7-footer, locked up. SGA, best point guard in the league right now, locked up. Donovan Mitchell, explosive young guard, locked up. Like, he can do it to anyone. He can guard 1 through 4 because of this measurable 6'7", 7-foot wingspan. He is so good defensively. He gets into you. He uses his long arms to get in the passing lanes, make you feel uncomfortable, and he's got the foot speed to move laterally. He's got the athleticism and verticality to challenge you at the rim. I cannot wait to watch Andrew Wiggins defend for Erik Spoelstra, the best defensive coach in the NBA, and you add a defensive monster like Wiggins, oh yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. And that's not even talking about his offense, and he's having one of his best offensive seasons in the NBA, averaging 17.5 points per game and shooting 38% from 3. Like, Andrew Wiggins is going to be such a key piece for the Miami Heat going forward. He's a respectable contract as well. You combine his defense with his three-point shooting off the catch, 40.2% by the way this season, and it's going to be a massive addition to the Miami Heat. I love Haywood Highsmith. I think he's a great ball player, but he's got limitations. Adding Andrew Wiggins above Haywood Highsmith is going to do absolutely move mountains for this Miami Heat roster. And before we get into Davion Mitchell's impact and talk about Kyle Anderson as well, we are sponsored by PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform out there. And with the big game this weekend, make sure you get started on PrizePicks right now. PrizePicks is offering a free entry for the big game. If you just take it, you got to pair up it with one more stat projection to win real cash, more than half a passing yard for Patrick Mahomes. Also, check out the promos tab to tally any of the PrizePicks Super Sweat Millie Winners Big Game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split up to $1 million in promo funds. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25%. To provide even more value for your lineups. I'm pairing up that Patrick Mahomes passing yard with Saquon Barkley rushing yards. Hopefully, I am able to connect and win real money. Join me and the millions of others on PrizePicks. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One more time, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, let's get into Davion Mitchell's impact, someone who I did not expect to be on the Miami Heat going in the trade deadline day after the Jimmy Butler trade happened the night before, but I'm happy he is with the Heat, and I think he's going to make a huge impact off the bench or maybe even as a starter. Erik Spoelstra believes the same, saying that Davion is somebody we've been a fan of. You never think you're going to have an opportunity to get him since he was a lottery pick out of Baylor. His toughness, his competitive spirit, it's something we really admire. It fits in with how we want to play. And you talk about Andrew Wiggins being a menace defensively. Davion Mitchell, for his size and his position, might be even better than Andrew Wiggins. They call him off night because your favorite player will have an off night when Davion Mitchell is matched up with you. He is an excellent defender. You look at some of the players that he has locked up in big minutes too, by the way. Trae Young, De'Aaron Fox, Jaylen Brown, LaMelo Ball, Jamal Murray, all shooting sub 40% from the field, multiple turnovers. And the part that's the most impressive to me is that look at the size of some of these guys. Like, yeah, Trae Young is a smaller guard, so is De'Aaron Fox. That would be a good matchup for Mitchell. But Jaylen Brown's a combo guard, 6'5", 6'6". LaMelo Ball's a lengthy guard at 6'6". Like, and he's still making their life miserable and forcing turnovers. And he's not even that abysmal of an offensive player. Like, it could be way worse, folks. He is shooting 36% from three. He averaged 4.6 assists per game for the Raptors, averaging 24 minutes a game as well. Started 22 games out of the 44 games he played this season. Mitchell is not going to wow you with his offensive ability, but he is also someone that is not incapable. Remember DeLon Wright from a season ago. He was a good defender off of the buyout market for Miami. Davion Mitchell is better defensively than DeLon Wright. He's better offensively. He's more athletic. Davion Mitchell is going to make a major impact for this Miami Heat basketball team on the defensive end, but he also is going to be able to provide some things on the offensive end due to his athleticism and quickness. But this is why you subscribe to the channel here at the Heat Report, because we broke down all the trade rumors, went live for the deadline, the Jimmy Butler trade, but we're going to continue to break down the Miami Heat daily with what they're doing on the court, news and rumors off the court, as well as go live for every Heat basketball game. So join the channel right now. And it's impressive what Davion Mitchell is able to do defensively because he is so limited in his size. He's only 6 feet tall. His wingspan is a +4, which is very good, but it's still not like it's an ungodly +6'6" wingspan to where he can really make you feel uncomfortable with his length. It's good, but not great. He is stocky, though, and that's what I like. You saw Andrew Wiggins listed weight at 197, and he's 6'7". Davion Mitchell, 6 foot tall and 202. So he's stocky, and which is why he's able to guard above his weight class because he's physical. He'll get into you. He won't get pushed off of his spot very easily by lengthier and bigger guards, which is something Mitchell needed to do to make up for his lack in height. And when you think of what Miami has done at the deadline, we have not talked about Kyle Anderson to this point, but you added 2 elite point of attack defenders at the wing and guard position to this roster. And we showed a graphic yesterday during our trade deadline coverage that we didn't show today. But when you look at B-Ball Index, they have 2 stats and kind of advanced metrics. Advanced matchup difficulty and perimeter isolation defense. Davion Mitchell ranked top 5 in matchup difficulty and isolation perimeter defense. Andrew Wiggins ranked top 10 in both of those statistics as well. So they are statistically proven to be some of the best defenders at the wing and at the perimeter in the entire NBA. And this is a lineup that intrigues me quite a bit. Some may argue and say some might push for this to be the starting lineup. I still think Duncan Robinson keeps that position, but an offense and defensive kind of meshed lineup of Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, and Kel'el Ware is interesting, and it's a lot of fun. Hero has always benefited from someone being elite defensively next to him in the backcourt. Mitchell can handle the ball as well. Maybe he is going to upgrade his offensive ability in this staff, in this scheme, under this developmental system that Miami employs. But then you talk about the versatility defensively with Andrew Wiggins and Bam Adebayo, Kel'el Ware. And then you talk about Wiggins' ability to hit a catch-and-shoot three-pointer, but then also leverage that shot into a dribble drive where he could finish at the rim. Also think Andrew Wiggins is an underrated off-ball cutter. It's something he did very well in that Golden State Warriors free-flowing offense, where the Heat kind of mimicked it a little bit, if you will. Not saying that Hero is as good as Steph Curry, not saying that one bit, but they use him in terms of usage and three-point shooting and screens, pin downs, ball handling in a similar way. So it's not that bad of a fit. And you also have so much versatility just in general, with your bench being Jovic, Jaquez, Rozier, Pallel Larson. Like, I am a big fan of what the Heat employ now with their versatility defensively, offensively. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. We're not going to talk about Kyle Anderson in depth, but I did want to share what Erik Spoelstra said about Slow-Mo, who is joining this Heat roster, saying Kyle Anderson is one of the elite role players in the league. He's a unique player. I studied him a lot when he was coming out of the draft. His IQ is off the charts. He's been a part of a lot of winning teams. It's not a coincidence. I don't disagree. I think Kyle Anderson's a winning basketball player. The statistics aren't going to be gaudy. Only averages about 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists a game. Not a good three-point shooter, but can finish inside. Good defensively, lengthy, can pass. I'm just unsure of his role because this Heat team has so many wings. Think about it. Andrew Wiggins. You have Nikola Jovic, Haywood Highsmith, Jaime Jaquez Jr. That's 4 guys that you probably have above Kyle Anderson in the rotation and in the depth chart. I don't think Anderson will play a lot for the Miami Heat. I do think if there's injuries or people out or they are just not playing well and need to inject a different vibe and kind of feel into this basketball game, that's maybe where Kyle Anderson comes into play. But I would not anticipate him being part of the main top 8, 9, 10 rotation guys. I think he's just on the bubble, kind of like Alec Burks, to where maybe the veteran could come in and play in spot moments, but I would not project him to get a key role like maybe Davion Mitchell and Andrew Wiggins. I am going to tell you my prediction on how the rest of the season will fare here in just a second, but let me know, what seed will the Miami Heat finish with this upcoming regular season? Get down in the comment section and drop what you think it will be. My final outlook on the season. Now that we know the moves that have been made, the players have yet to debut, I'm going to call my shot right now. With Wiggins, Mitchell, Anderson joining the fold, I believe the Miami Heat will finish as the 5th or 6th seed. I do. They are currently the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. I believe they will stay there. Maybe they take a spot up. They have to chase down the Milwaukee Bucks or Indiana Pacers. The Bucks are the one in the 5 spot right now, about 1.5, 2 games above Miami. But I still think the Heat are first-round exits because it's likely that the Heat will finish as the 6th seed. And although I think the Heat will be frisky and give maybe a Celtics, Cavaliers, Knicks team some trouble in the first round, take a couple of games, make it a 6-game series, I don't really think they could beat anyone in a 7-game series right now as they're constructed, unless it's the Indiana Pacers. If you get to the 5 seed and Indiana's the 4 seed, I think you could beat the Pacers in 6 or 7 games. But I would right now, unless the Kyle Kuzma trade just tanks the Milwaukee Bucks, take Milwaukee, New York, Cleveland, and Boston over us in the East. But hey, you never know. I think we're going to be a lot of fun this season. And I heard 5 Reason Sports Network talk about this, and I really agreed with their sentiment. The Heat need to pick multiple directions. The Heat are an average basketball team as of right now. They need to pick if they're going to go old and make a trade for a superstar on the Jimmy Butler timeline, or they need to decide if they're going to youth movement. Well, they were forced into the youth movement. So here we are with the Jimmy Butler trade stuff. But then they also needed to pick a direction if they were going to be an offensive team or a defensive team. Because every time they were on the floor, they had like 2 good offensive players, 2 good defensive players, and it just caused a lot of average basketball being played. But with the addition of Wiggins and Mitchell, they can now lean into that defensive side with Wiggins, Mitchell, Bam, Ware. That's an elite defensive team. The Heat, when they're going to be at their best with this new look roster, is going to be in low-scoring games under 100 points, muddying the waters up a little bit. If a team scores over 110 against Miami, the Heat will probably lose. But you keep them under 105, I think the Heat will be in a lot of ball games and potentially get some wins racked up before the playoffs. All right, that's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you are subscribed because we are going to continue to go live for Miami Heat ball games and break down Heat basketball on a daily basis. So join me here at the Heat Report.